Yep. Everything I pray for my services, myself, you guys are all included by
Thanks,
name now.
Jim.
So that is like, it's actually, honestly, it's getting old. It's like 15 times a day. Okay.
Oh.
But-
I just say, Lord, what I prayed for earlier, cover it.
Dude,
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I do not.
You probably could do that.
I don't. Sometimes if I don't want to name
You probably
everyone's
could-
name, I'm like, Lord, you know the people.
No, I don't. I probably name your names probably 5 times a day, but
But Jim, we didn't ask you to pray for us.
I know, but
The Lord
but
put
why
that
not?
on your heart.
Why not?
Yeah.
If you're part of it, like if people think you're funny and if there's pressure on you to be funny,
It just comes natural. Does it come natural to you, John? Humor?
I try not to think about it.
See? But I did pray with my daughter last night, and I
Yeah.
was done, and she's like, that's kind of fast, Mom. And I was like, well, then close your eyes and meditate for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Well, I like, for me,
meditate on the answer.
Yeah. No,
I
meditate
think-
on the Lord, I said. On the Lord.
I
I thought I
think-
prayed too fast.
when it comes to prayer, like stuff that I do daily and everything, sometimes when it's like a specific thing that I want to see happen, for me, it's like if I come with the same prayer and request every time, for me, I'm like, did I not believe
Knock
in
and keep
me?
knocking. That's what Jim keeps saying.
Did I mean what I prayed, and did the Lord hear me the first time? You know, sometimes I believe there's stuff that you need to pray every day to make sure that your mind and your spirit are staying in that same lane and making sure that your faith is applied to it. I agree with that. I'm just saying there's some things that I'm like, I've already asked the Lord. I trust that He is taking care of what it is that I've asked Him to do.
And in my opinion, I don't believe in that whole prayer faith thing anymore.
What do you
Based
mean?
from my own experience. Well, Hagen taught that. You pray the prayer of faith one time.
Yeah.
Because he gave an example. He said in this big meeting, they prayed over this girl. She got her healing.
Yeah.
But no one knew it.
Oh.
Right?
Right.
No one knew it but a few people. They called the girl up in the meeting the next night. Prayed again. And Hagen said, the Lord said she lost her healing. Because
Can I have your paper?
they undid the prayer of faith.
That's a
But
weird
I'll
thing
just
to
say, I write everything down.
Yeah.
My success
Yeah.
on just keeping on praying what I used to
Absolutely.
only pray one time.
Yeah.
Okay? And I used to only pray over the podcast one. Well, I asked, that's a prayer of faith. This is what I'm believing. So many things like the podcast have totally changed. Totally changed from discipline to calories to eating to workouts to the weather. Like I still, if I need the weather to be a certain thing, I hit it all week. Opposed to one time, command the weather. Oh, it rained.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So I don't,
understand that.
I do not, from my own personal daily experience, I believe it's knock and keep knocking. And I'm not doing. I think there's times where out of desperation you got to pray the prayer of faith. You only have one chance, one shot.
Yeah.
Because of time, but I was explaining I can't really. I'm not going to come against Kenneth. Someday I might. If the congregation, you can really be tied up in that. That. Well, I already prayed it once, and if I pray it again, it'll be negated.
Sure.
It'll be negated.
That's not what I'm coming from.
So
I just
believe and exclusively in I just said I told my mom that though. I'm done with the prayer of faith. I'm just of course there's times you pray in a service, that's the only time you're going to get to do it probably.
Right.
Okay, but I'm a repetitive prayer guy here.
like Rain Man.
Okay, so you ready? That's our devotional for today.
I like your haircut.
Welcome to the Final Hour podcast, coming to you from the original Minneapolis, Minnesota. My name is Jim Hammond.
I'm Lonaiah Farrell.
And I'm John Gap.
And I'm JD.
Jerry.
Legend Dupree.
And you probably saw that discussion on prayer. Maybe Jerry put that up. This is actually putting him under pressure to put this up. Listen, that's just my opinion. You want to run around saying your prayer of faith one time and then it, have to say it again 2 months later because it didn't work. I'm just saying, I'm going with the knock and keep knocking. I've had extreme success on coming at these. I've got 20 prayers that I pray every day. Okay? The same 20 prayers written on a little piece of notebook paper. And I've had extreme success opposed to, I used to do that. Just pray once. Well, I said the prayer of faith. I could negate it if I say it again. Might be different with a healing line. Might be different last minute, something that's got to be done. But I'm just kind of qualifying that. I don't think I know everything.
Yeah.
I know that's a big step to say. I don't believe it the way Kenneth Hagin taught that. But that's just for my own personal. You do what you got to do. Okay?
I think there's a part of it where for me, as we started that conversation, for me, I'm gonna have to continue to pray and bring that to the Lord until it's settled in my heart.
Right.
Till I know that I have given it over to God, and that I'm in faith about it. But there are other things. I think there are things that you just need to cover, as just like you need to clean your house on a regular basis to make sure that it doesn't get dirty or it's in bad repair. I think there are lots of things like you're talking about, and a lot of the things you pray daily. That's part of just maintenance in your spirit and maintenance in your life, is bringing it all to the Lord each and every day.
There are prayers that you should pray every day.
Yeah.
The epistle prayers.
Yeah.
Ephesians 1, the prayer that Paul prays in Ephesians 1, the prayer that Paul prays in Ephesians 3.
Yeah.
The prayer Paul prays in Philippians 1. It's only 3 verses. Mm-hmm. And the prayer in Colossians 1, 9 through 14. You should pray those every day, because he obviously prayed those every day.
Yeah.
He said, I do not cease to pray for you.
Yeah.
Making special requests. So he's praying these prayers for the the church at Colossae every single day. That was very clear. Or he said in Ephesians, I always pray to the God of my Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of glory, that you would grant unto the church at Ephesus the spirit of wisdom and revelation. So he says he always prayed it every day over that church. Mm-hmm. So there are prayers that you should pray every day. And so just a little side.
You can get a link to those confessions at lwcc.org/confessions.
Well, the epistle prayers, yeah.
They're on there.
There's a lot
There's a lot of confessions in
a
there.
lot of stuff that will help you.
lwcc.org
/confessions. Okay.
Bam.
And so we have
Israel.
Yes, we are going to Israel.
I hadn't heard
October
about this.
6th through the 18th, 2024.
Yeah.
This coming October. We only have 28 people signed up.
We were actually looking at the tour company's website today. They have like 6 or 7 tours starting May to when are we going? October till November of this year. Every month they got a 2-week tour. So ours is like right towards the end of that. But people are going to Israel.
We can
That's
have
my
up
point.
to 100 people. All right,
Yeah.
2 buses. 30 have signed up, and so you're welcome. Check it out at the Final Hour podcast. No spaces. Look that up. You can see Israel up in the corner. All right.
Yep.
Or one way, I was in church and one lady was like, "Well, I can't get to the podcast." Right. To sign up for the Israel trip.
Well, there's a real easy way to get there.
And it didn't get there.
2 ways.
Through the website.
Yeah.
I just said, you know what I said? I said Jim Hammond podcast, and it took me to it gave me access. So you can also get there from the Living Word.
I was going to say
website.
If you go to lwcc.org and just scroll down to the bottom of the page, there's a link for the Final Hour podcast.
And then up
You
in the
got
corner,
3 ways, people. 3 ways.
when you get to the podcast website, up in the corner, you see Israel.
And I believe wherever they're watching this, or
Jeremiah
accessing
shows
this,
us.
they can click on the link for Final Hour podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jerry
Also.
puts it on the screen. Duh.
Duh to you or duh to them?
Duh to them.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying duh to you because you just gave us a rambling of like a minute of where they can find it. And it's right there.
Duh. In grace.
The people I witness out in the lobby have no idea. Okay, that's why I'm going very detailed, because honestly, the people I run into out in the lobby, I can operate their iPhones better than them. Okay?
A lot of people who have iPhones
and I don't
do
even
not
have
know.
an iPhone.
Yeah.
Right? So
I wasn't going to say it.
I'm just
They
when
don't.
you have to do that 4 times a weekend to help someone on their
Wow,
own
Jim,
iPhone.
do you want to switch to the IT department? They maybe could use your expertise there. That's good.
It makes you over explain how to get to a website.
know.
Okay?
So great. What if
You know?
Jim, like, you had a computer problem and Jim showed up?
Look. Remember when
Remember when he typed on Monday?
remember when
me.
remember Brian
Go ahead and
Brian Sullivan was the chief operations officer?
Yeah.
The coup.
He ran the staff, and so we're like, "Hey,
Oh, yeah.
you know what's going on over here on the Living Word app is stupid. Check it out." And we're watching him, and he can't even get to the app. This is the chief operations officer.
Yeah.
Am I sharing too much information here? He's
No,
retired.
he's
so.
retired.
Yeah.
He knew he couldn't get there. He handed me the phone.
He was using an Android at the time, though.
Which the LWCC app does have the Final Hour podcast on it. But
yes,
anywho's.
it does. It's actually a pretty solid app. You know who keeps that app up?
Jerry. JD.
That's why I call
He's a
him
man of many
legend.
talents.
All right, there's your 7 minutes of comedy.
That wasn't
was
comic.
zero
That was
comedy.
boring.
Well, you have your chance.
When?
You could chime in.
I
anytime.
tried to throw out the IT department. That
I thought
one
that was
flat.
hilarious. Yeah.
Okay, you got anything else?
Well, no, it just comes natural. We can't create.
I was in a conversation yesterday out in the hallway, and Lonaiah just kind of says,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just kind of like
Okay, first off,
she
no,
says to this guy that's never heard anything about the running, the contest. She says, "Well, I run like a gazelle."
I did. And he said,
And
he
he kind
blinked.
of he did a double take. He's like, "Excuse me,
A gazelle?
you run like a gazelle."
Yeah,
Like Phoebe?
He's like,
better.
he's like, okay.
Yeah. And then he said, you guys really should have a race.
And I said,
I walked in at that point.
Once
Yeah,
again,
you did,
yeah.
John.
Yeah.
Once again, I said, let's go.
Okay. But I wasn't wearing the right shoes, and I had already
got it.
Once
ran.
again, I said, let's go.
I had already ran a lot of miles that morning.
Wait for Sunday when he's dressed up in his
Yeah,
suit.
Jim.
Then you should race him because
you know,
he'll be in those dress
I tell you
shoes.
what,
That's true.
you go out there and you put that on video, and I beat her in dress shoes by 6 or 7 yards like I always have.
Would you do it outside or in the walkway?
I don't like outside. I just think I don't want to step in a pothole. I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to take myself out of my workout classes because I'm trying to prove that I can beat Jim, even though I know I can't. Like, I just say it. It's just called trash talk.
I think the real race is between you and I.
I think so, too. We were close.
We were close.
We were close.
I think we just get them all out
I
there.
think
We get
I
Dustin,
just-
we get Trent.
yeah.
That's what I thought. Why does everybody want to see? How
Yeah,
about these
you
younger
just want-
guys?
should we have a living
If they
word
can beat-
race?
If she can beat me, then she can probably beat a lot of other people, in my opinion. I
I know
think
for
I'm slow.
me, it takes me about 30 yards to get up to speed.
Does it, John? Well, then you would
That's
want the
what it
100-yard
feels like.
dash.
Yeah,
Anyways.
the 40's tough. The 40's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you've had 9 minutes of special comedy, Elon Musk was doing an interview. And when he's doing this interview,
No, it's not comedy. Was there anything comic in that?
that's what everyone says.
The first 7 minutes
we
are just
love
fun.
the first 7 minutes. We love, you guys are so the
Well,
others.
remember when Jim didn't
Yeah.
participate the first 7 minutes? He
Yeah.
just sat there
The others.
like a curmudgeon.
Do you even know what that is?
Yeah, curmudgeon. You were like, you thought me and John were boring.
Anyways, I don't think I've
took that
ever just
personally.
sat there. But Elon Musk is doing an interview, and he's referring to a movie in this interview,
Yeah.
and he starts to talk to about this movie, and I don't know which movie, but he refers to the fact that in this movie, this guy draws a pentagram on the floor, and through this pentagram, some type of words, ritualistic words.
Yeah.
He summons a demon. But when he gets the demon in the room, he isn't able to control the demon.
Yep.
And Elon Musk, in an interview, is referring to this movie, saying, comparing this to what the human race is doing with AI.
Yeah.
He's like, we're summoning. He's referring to the fact that we're summoning a demon that we cannot control.
Yeah.
Okay? Just like the movie, because he refers to the movie. And Elon Musk says, we all know how that's going to work out. It's going to work out like it worked out in the movie.
We've already talked about. We've already seen all those movies where the AI goes crazy and tries to kill humanity, more or less.
We aren't going to control the demon, is what he's saying.
No.
The demon, in the end, is going to control us, and he's using that, as an example for AI.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to hear Elon Musk,
who's one of the developers of AI, make these comments.
Yeah, in regards to artificial intelligence, where it is today, say the demon is going to turn on us.
Wow.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
And
So they're basically, I guess, assisting the demons in their work,
well,
giving them a body. Because don't demons need? Didn't we talk about this before? They need a body to be housed in, right?
that's James 10.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Look, well, they don't have to have a body, but that's what they want.
Okay.
Well, because you can affect the physical world in a more direct way that way.
But we need to be paying attention, because it is estimated that in 3 to 5 years, AI will predict control 40% of the economy.
Wow.
In 10 years, AI will control 75 to 80% of the economy. And I wonder if this is AI in Revelation 13. I've never thought about, and I know, listen, we've talked about AI before.
Yeah.
But this is not something you just talk about once or twice and drop it.
No,
because
it's developing every day. It's developing.
We're gonna come back at this subject about every 6 months.
Yeah.
And so that you're paying attention. Revelation chapter 13, the false prophet, who Revelation, the devil he seems to try to copy everything that God does.
So original.
He makes a counterfeit.
Unoriginal.
You have that friend who always copies you, and it just gets really old and annoying and boring. That is the devil.
Boring.
In the Trinity,
He's not a friend either.
in the tribulation, he's got a satanic trinity. He's got himself as the Father, the Antichrist as the Son, and the false prophet as the Holy Spirit. Well, in Revelation 13, the false prophet creates this giant structure, and so the structure is made to look exactly like the Antichrist, right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
And so, picking up from there, Revelation 13:15, the false prophet is permitted to impart the breath of life into the beast's image. That's the giant structure that looks like the Antichrist. So that the statue of the beast, in this case the Antichrist, could actually talk, and the statue could cause to be put to death those who would not bow down and worship the image of the beast, or this image of the Antichrist. And if you think about where we are today, so in the tribulation after the rapture, yes, we believe there's a rapture. Yes, we believe that it is going to happen before the tribulation. There may be other raptures during the tribulation. Some people believe that, and some people believe that we all are going to be forced to go through the tribulation, which I think that people that say that, they really haven't studied the Bible, in my opinion. All right? I've done 56 messages on this thing. If you look at Daniel and you look at the book of Revelation, and if you think we're going through the rapture, then you're kind of, or we're going through the tribulation and the rapture isn't happening before the tribulation, then you're kind of ignorant. Okay. You really don't know. In my opinion, I'm going to look at you like, okay.
Right.
Listen to the Revelation 4 message that you taught. That's what was like, wow.
Yeah.
It really hit home for me.
Well, I'll tell you what, Revelation 4, there's a lot more convincing stuff than that.
Well, that was the start of it where I was like, okay, I'm not going to be here for that.
Well, so the Antichrist in the tribulation after we are gone in the rapture sets up an economic system under his one world government. That's what the next verse talks about, not being able to buy or sell unless they have this mark of the beast, who is the Antichrist. So this image is set up, this giant image. It's actually the false prophet that sets up this image.
Yeah.
I believe there will be multiple images all over the world of this thing.
Can I say something about that? I got such a clear picture as you were describing that just the first time here, just a couple of minutes ago, of how right now there is some real social pressure to say someone is what they claim to be, whether it's transgender issues or something like that.
Yes.
I got a really clear picture of this spreading over to if you don't agree with this thing being alive, if it AI, it's real life, that, and so when and he demands that you recognize it as real life.
That's a good point.
And not artificial life or whatever.
It'll be like the Nebuchadnezzar statue all over again.
Exactly
or
like
the
that.
transgender issue.
Yep.
Well, you do know that Google.
You have to believe this. You
week-
have to
you have
recognize
to believe.
this.
Yeah. And
But
if
this
you
week-
don't, to death.
Well, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna save this part because it goes with something else.
Yeah.
I would just remember that you have later in your notes.
So that's a good point, John. These scriptures that we're going to go through today in Revelation 13, we'll come back to them. If you read between the lines, there is so much in these scriptures that I always just kind of, but we'll come back to that. In the tribulation, after the rapture, we believe there is a rapture. The Antichrist sets up this economic system under his one world government. Mm-hmm. That's what the next verse talks about. So this image is set up. It's actually the false prophet, his religious arm. The false prophet is the religious arm of the Antichrist that sets this image up of the Antichrist, and this image can move. It has the ability to speak. And at this point, you are required to bow down and worship the image of the beast, or you will be put to death. And
in the same thing, that also kind of gives us more and more of a picture of people trying to combine all of the religions in the world and bestow all of those religions' power into this kind of an image.
But you know what the Holy sometimes, I'd look at everything.
Yeah.
That pops in my head and just kind of analyze it again as we are, because this is what I pray that will happen during the podcast also. But as we're saying that, you know what he said to me when I said multiple of these things will be set up around the world? It'll be no, you'll have to do it. There's also the possibility that you have to be watching it. And then if you don't do it, because of the technology that's in you, they know that you don't, and they have the power to shut something off in you right there on the spot because the technology you're carrying. This is what popped in my head. I've never thought about that in my life. So who knows what it's going to look like? Right. But just looking at today, how's this image is going to be able to speak looking at today? Well, AI can interact with us.
Yes.
It can speak, right?
Yep.
It can think. It can have a conversation. Right now, they are attempting to use AI technology to help us do things. So you have to look at that situation and say, well, it might not be magic. It might not be some kind of satanic magic. It might be straight up
I feel like
AI.
they're starting out with really stupid ways. Like I just read that Tesla debuted this new AI robot that like poaches eggs. So it like takes the shell off your egg
So it's gentle. It's got the dexterity enough to
like
not crush an egg.
Yes. So like look how gentle. And look, it will do the boring tasks that you don't want to do. Get yourself a AI robot for your house.
Well, it'd be nice.
Starts with the Zoom, like what are those things called that people have? The vacuum cleaner, the robotic vacuum.
To have
got one.
A robot throw the ball for Rolo.
Jim, I said use a tennis racket.
Yeah, but
still got to do it. Still got to go out there. You got to go out there in the rain. You got to go out there in the mud.
Remember, you got a ball machine. You just got to train Rolo to drop the ball in the machine. Then.
You're right.
But you want a robot to throw Rolo the ball.
So there,
he would never come in. They would just be constantly going.
And then would Rolo love you as much as, and
would he? I think he would because
get a robot to love my dog.
Hey, well, with the new robot that they're coming out, it'll supposedly have feelings because right now they don't. So
Hazel would never leave me.
Well,
Fenway would never leave me either.
There are.
But if the robot feeds the dog enough.
So Lonaiah's dog is named Fenway.
Yeah.
She's the aunt of my dog, Rolo. Mm-hmm. And John has a white...
English cream. Golden retriever.
Basically white golden retriever.
Yeah.
Hazel.
Right.
Hazel.
So.
Sometimes I call, because I have a kid, Wrigley.
Fenway is 79 pounds. How much is
Probably
Hazel?
64. No, my
Hazel's
dog
64
is not 79
and Rolo's
pounds.
55 pounds. How much is Fenway?
She's
81?
like 62. 62.
62 pounds.
Hazel is thick right now.
But you guys,
I think I've been feeding her too much.
Yeah, you got to cut. Remember when you thought your dog was pregnant?
Yeah.
And you were like feeding your dog too much, John?
I think my wife's like, I don't feed her that much. I was like, oh. Whoops.
It's like a cup a day, right? Or a cup a meal?
It's a cup and a quarter.
Yeah, see.
And I think I've been doing a cup and a half.
Yeah. She loves you then. Does she love you more?
She loves me way more.
Yeah.
I'm also calm.
Oh, okay.
Not that my wife isn't calm, but
no. They have like one person. If it's a female, I feel like the male dogs, they kind of just...
Yeah.
Because at the office, Rolo, like, he likes Jim, but if I'm petting Rolo and Jim comes over, he's like... Get out of my face.
He thinks Lonaiah's his mommy.
Like what was he doing today? He had his paw on my head.
Yeah, I've seen him.
I was like, Jim, what the heck?
He gets on the chair behind you and sets his chin on top of your head.
And he'll pull. Yeah. He's just a
weird
dog.
He can pull Lonaiah's chair around the office.
Yeah.
With his paw.
Yeah. Sometimes I have him at my house and my dog isn't pushy.
Yeah.
And we have this gate downstairs. And I went down, like, because they were outside and they were running around. It was raining or something. And I see Rolo like run up to the kitchen. I was like, what's going on? And my dog's just sitting there like respectful, like, can you believe? And Rolo like unlatched the thing and came upstairs like he is.
Yeah, he's pushy.
He is. Good thing you have a lock on that gate in the backyard.
Yeah, there is a lock.
He knows what he wants.
He does. He does.
But
finally we got to the comedy.
We hope you enjoyed our talk on animals today.
Yes.
But there are churches using AI. Right? Although I would never use AI to do a message or a sermon, there are many guys out there doing that. And AI can write you an article, can write an article for you. It can do it really fast. But
remember when ESPN was using AI a couple months ago? And they got in trouble because the AI wasn't giving factual information. Remember how we've talked about how they can start to deceive and give wrong information because they don't ever know everything?
Up when they don't have all the info. They just start making it up or like extrapolate maybe an estimate.
So ESPN had to retract some of their stories because they were written by AI and they're inaccurate. So like that's just remember that when you're using AI.
This is a technology. If used for the wrong reasons or in evil ways, it's unlimited, the evil that it could cause. It literally is unlimited. Remember how I was talking to you about the principle?
Oh, yes.
That
right.
this is down somewhere in the South where the principal is investigating this athletic director for misuse of funds. And so the AD made a video or a recording of the principal with AI saying a bunch of racial slurs.
So crazy.
And it basically just about ruined this guy's life.
Yeah.
Right? But they just found out recently it was AI. The athletic director took AI and made up this conversation. So just building on that.
Yeah.
That's
Let
crazy.
me tell you something. You can't believe all the crazy stuff on tape or even that you would see on video. All right? At this point, you're sorry, but you're stupid.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe everything you hear. Well, we have a recording. Do ya? You know?
Well, someone was just telling us in the hall yesterday that if you answer a phone call from a random number that you don't know and you talk long enough, they can take a snippet of your voice and they can spin it and they can make it say whatever they want it to say.
Yeah, and I used to tell all the time those AI sales calls. I was like obsessed with telling them, I do not want you to call here anymore.
Yeah.
Do not call any more. Right?
How'd that work out?
He would be like, don't call every day. I'm like, just stop
calling
me. Don't stop calling me. That's what it heard.
Okay. I just heard yesterday it's dangerous to do that.
Yes, it is.
Just don't answer the call.
I never answer a call.
If you don't know the number, don't answer the call in this day and age. And so I guess we could just go ahead and assume China won't put limitations on AI or probably doing very evil things.
Yeah.
Because our government is looking at regulating AI.
Right.
The World Economic Forum just recently had discussions on AI being involved with weapons systems.
What a
Why
terrible
are the World
idea.
Economic Forum people in charge of anything?
Yeah, because
have they not seen Terminator 2?
They're doing it under the guise
I'll
of
be
They're
back.
probably going to call it Skynet too, just to be
how we would use these weapons morally.
Oh, I'm
Okay, that's
glad
what
they
they're
care
saying.
about morals all of a
Yes.
sudden.
more. Yes, because AI values human life. That's how you can.
This thing's coming.
That's
You got
so
the head of
stupid.
Microsoft, the head of Google, the head of everything in World Economic Forum, and they care about
Amazon.
morals.
But you know
Yeah,
what you know what I've been waiting on for quite a while is for that big fake thing of some celebrity,
Oh, sure.
right?
Yeah. Like a deep fake.
Yeah, like they can create you on video.
Well, there is already
like you're saying it.
Yeah.
AI.
a
AI
bunch
can-
of celebrities who they were saying that they were pictures of them and they were using them for certain things.
Right.
And they were like, that is not me.
That is not me.
You can't do that.
Yep.
So I was just waiting for some huge deception.
Yeah.
on something.
There's a great AI filter that you can put on any video, and it takes all of the audio and it reproduces it in Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice.
Oh, really?
And it's hilarious. And I tried to do that for Liam this morning, and he was like,
He didn't like it. I don't blame him.
"What are you doing?" He didn't say it like that, but his face did.
Yeah, he's a very like John's little boy.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah.
4,000 AI researchers were surveyed. 48% of these AI experts believe that there is a 10% chance that AI will end human civilization.
Wow. Well, they're
So-
predicting that by 2027, AI will be human level or superhuman.
No, 4,000 AI experts surveyed. Almost 50% of them believe there is a 10% chance that AI will end human civilization.
60% of the time, it
Well-
works every time.
Well, remember when the AI robots, like when they were doing the Amazon stuff, the one got mad and like choked the person?
Yeah.
And then when the kid was playing chess with it, it like grabbed
Yeah.
the kid's hand and like
Right.
wouldn't let it go.
I couldn't beat you on the board, so I'll beat you in the...
Listen, if Jesus appeared to you before you went to work and said there's a 10% chance this would never happen, but if there's a 10% chance if you go to work today, you will die by the end of the day. And I know that's never going to happen, but would you go to work? I wouldn't go to work.
Not, no.
I don't go. I would call in sick. I would take a vacation day.
I would quit.
I'm quitting.
Like if Jesus appeared to you and say, if you go to work, 1 in 10, you don't make it through the day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go to work. Because these guys are saying half
the
of the
payoff?
AI experts are saying there's a 10% chance AI will end human civilization.
So then why are we so adamant about creating these AI like advancements?
Great
and remember the
question.
Boston science place last week or the week before?
Both
Created that new robot that could like contort itself. It like was on the ground and then it just
It can
I was
get up.
watching it and I was like,
It's
okay.
wild.
It was wild.
Knock it down and it can get up. I mean, it basically reverses his head and gets up.
I was crazy.
Yeah, it's nutty.
So half the experts, or 4,000 AI experts, 2,000 of them believe that there's a 10% chance AI will end human civilization. Famous scientific writer Stephen Hawking wrote that AI could end human civilization. I heard one famous minister say, it can be used. AI can be used for redemptive purposes. But can I just be honest? I don't think it's going that direction here.
No.
Okay.
I don't think so either.
I do not think it's even meant to go that direction. I'm saying, you can have AI write your articles or do whatever you want to, peel your hard-boiled eggs. I don't care what you have.
Gentle.
That's fine, right? That's not what I'm saying. Elon Musk confronted Larry Page, who's the chief engineer of Google. And we've already told you this once, but this is a reminder. And I'm not saying I think Elon Musk is a great guy, okay? But Google controls 70% of the AI in the world today.
Wow.
Google controls 70% of the AI technology in the world. I know they have over 60% of the AI researchers and experts in the world. So Elon Musk confronts Larry Page, chief engineer of Google. They used to be great friends. And he tells Elon to Larry, you have a responsibility. I've told you this before, Larry. As a responsibility to control AI, to regulate AI because of all the bad things it has the ability to do. And Larry Page called him a specious.
Yeah.
You know what a specious means? You're pro-human, Elon.
Yeah. How could you?
We're humans.
And this that gets back to what we were talking about with the, if you won't say that the image
Oh,
is.
yes. Well, remember, didn't we talk about one time that if you put a chip in your brain, it takes like 1% of your DNA to be changed for you to be non-human or something?
Or
AI.
something human.
Since that conversation,
Transhuman.
they have not spoken since.
Well,
It was a divide. So the prediction here with AI is that every 12 months, the technology, they've proven, minimally doubles.
I think it's probably even quicker than that now.
So Google...
Oh, yeah, probably.
Speeds up.
Google and Elon Musk divided because Google believes Elon Musk is pro-human. So we know that the Antichrist is going to establish a one-world economy. He's going to use the false prophet to establish a one-world religion. And through all this, he is able to do this because he is in charge of a one-world government. How does he do this?
Scary.
If he is stationed in Brussels... I've heard a lot of end-time prophecy experts believe Babylon over in Iraq will be rebuilt. There's still a little remnant there. And if he's in Babylon or is he in Brussels? Is he in Berlin? Does he move around? Right. Does he move around? Does he have offices, 4 or 5 headquarters all over the world? And so how, from Babylon or Brussels, how does he control what's going on here in, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, Maple Grove, Minnesota? Lonaiah, don't you live in Hopkins?
Yeah, I pray over my territory.
Okay. So do I. I pray over my territory. That's what I call it, too. It's my territory.
But yeah.
My territory. And I don't even want to take a big territory. Although I pray over the church here every day. In detail, I put walls of the blood of Jesus, and you guys can think this is far out there, that are 100 feet high in the air around my house and around my property. But I also put them around from 694 to 494 to Bass Lake Road to 169.
No, you're like the book of Ezekiel where it like goes through the altars and like how tall and wide they are.
I said I own that. I own that. That's what I say every day, almost every day in the evening. I say that those walls inside 694, 494, Bass Lake Road and 169. I own this. You have authority over it. Over all of this. I have authority over all of this. there's no attacks, no terrorist attacks are coming in to I call it my neighborhood.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
And I call it my neighborhood, and I put up the blood walls, and you know what, we're going to make you, people are asking us to give you scriptures and documentation and all this stuff. We'll just send you the books, right? Going forward.
You're like perfectly in the middle of that.
Yeah, of his territory.
Of your territory.
Of your
You're
territory.
you are like right in the middle.
I'm a little bit too close to Bass Lake Road.
Sure.
Like I thought of taking it all the way down to.
Can you do Schmidt?
Lake
Because
Road.
that's where my kids go to school.
Rockford Road.
Oh, sure.
Oh, that's better. That covers my parents' house too.
Yeah, I thought about Rockford Road. Maybe I extend it.
I don't know.
Can you?
Plymouth's probably on its own.
Can you just extend it to 62? That covers my territory too. You know how you just throw us in there? Just throw in my territory.
Could you go up to 610?
It's just changing your words.
Why not?
Why not? Just doesn't the
Anyways.
Lord say He'll enlarge your territory? We're just trying to help you enlarge
Pray
it.
that every day.
Oh, well, we just enlarged it for you.
Yeah, he says he brought us into a large place.
And then Lonaiah and I, every other day, will also agree with
I'm
you.
evens, he's odds.
Every
we
other
got
day.
you. So we
Brought us into a large place. He delivered us because he delighted in us.
Oh, yeah.
That's in Psalms and Samuel. Those are David's words. He's going to be able to control the Antichrist, who buys, who sells, what they buy, what they sell, by technology being implanted into everyone.
Yeah, like you guys at Whole
Okay.
Foods, the Amazon Prime Palm thing is there every time I check out. And I just look at it and I think
Is it working
people,
for you?
I would never.
Do you ever just...
Yeah, one time I went like this, and
Yeah,
the
it
guy's
doesn't
like,
work.
"You don't want Jeff Bezos to have information."
That
I was like,
is
"Oh,
correct. I
didn't even
not.
know there was a palm reader."
So think about this. This is the first time in history that using AI, right now, a small group of people could control the economy of the world.
Yep.
Right now.
And what did we say? Google owns 60% of all AI technology.
Yes. And AI has given the Antichrist, the coming Antichrist, the ability to do logistically what we all thought, right? How would he be able to do this? You can't just do that with a telephone. You can't control the world with a telephone.
Right.
And I will say this quickly, and I know we're doing if you're going to plead the blood, where's that in the Bible? Well, gosh, it says in the New Testament, and you can do your own fishing for this. Why would Moses take the blood of the animal
That's a good
sacrifice
point.
Blood of the
and
lamb.
sling it over the crowd?
Yeah.
Why would he do that? Everyone there said he threw it on the people. He covered everything. He covered the altar. He covered but he covered the people. Also, if the blood of that animal sacrifice being slung on those people, how much more in the spirit, the blood of Jesus?
Yeah.
There's your scriptural backing. Look it up. You can fish for it. It's in Hebrews. Okay?
Wow, that's good stuff.
I like it.
Imagine
that a
getting
sermon?
flicked with blood.
Is this a sermon coming up?
I don't know. It could be, couldn't it?
Could be.
Listen, Revelation 13:11. I saw another beast rising up out of the land, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spoke like a dragon. The other beast is the false prophet. The first beast is the Antichrist. So this guy rises up out of the land. Okay, this is the vision that the guy that wrote Revelation, John, sees in the spirit, and really I think it's the spirit behind the false prophet. Coming out of the land, two horns like a lamb. That's a religious flavor. To that, maybe a strong Christian leader from before, like a poser, right?
Like a pope.
Maybe one of those Christian guys that are in with P Daddy,
Yeah.
P Diddy, P Diddy that missed the rapture.
Puffy Wuffy.
You know,
P Diddy's in some trouble.
But you know, he had some ministers hanging out with him, right?
Yep.
They went to his party.
Yep.
That are woke.
Yep.
Of course, they're woke.
Right.
A lot of people think that the false prophet is the Pope because of all his power, even the power that he wields. Now, think about that. That's a religion.
He's involved somewhere.
Think about that. That's a religion where one guy is in charge of everything. Do you get what I mean?
I do.
One guy literally is in charge of 1 billion people. Okay?
And you know what? I probably would have thought no way that would
where's that in
happen.
the
But
Bible?
watching the pro-Palestinian protests right now,
Yeah.
I saw a video, I think I sent it to John, where they were doing the Islam, which we talked about last week. They have to do the call to prayer.
Right.
They had this whole section of
whole
college
courtyard.
at a college campus. All these kids, didn't matter their color, they were bowing down and they were doing the prayer to the east.
To the east.
With the Muslims.
With the Muslims.
During the pro-Palestinian protest. And I thought at that moment, I was like,
Bunch
wow,
of ignoramus.
look how ignorant
the
world is. They're
bunch
willing.
of ignorant 20-year-olds. But
They're
that's the way they've been taught, you know?
Yeah, but I was like, that it kind of brought me to that moment. Like the world is so hungry for, I don't even know what.
Well,
and they'll follow anything.
And that just feeds the whole Islamic. I mean, they have to take territory, and when they take territory, they own it. And you have these kids just giving them.
And remember when Jim said last week, like that Christian churches were bringing Muslims in to pray, and that is giving them territory.
Right.
Good point.
That's why we're taking territory.
Yeah, we are.
Okay. Wow. Listen to this. You're telling me. I mean, look, I found this, and all you got to do is Google, right? I mean, really, you can find things. People, Hebrews 9.
We can talk about that later too.
Hebrews 9. Although biblically, we're finding things harder that we want.
Yeah, you're right.
When we Google stuff, like biblical things on Israel.
Are we talking about that?
Google.
Biblical things on Israel. Googling,
AI.
like they try to hide stuff. Look, for when Moses had spoken every precept. He's preaching to all the people according to the law, Moses 9:19. He took the blood of calves and goats with water, scarlet, wool, and hyssop, and sprinkled both the book and all the people. Not some of the people. He sprinkled all the people, saying, "This is the blood of the testament." Oh, so this is New Testament here. Whereupon neither the first testament was dedicated without blood. That's verse 18. And then you have Moses slinging the blood on the people. So if the blood of calves and goats was effective, I wonder how the blood of Jesus would be.
Yeah.
You don't plead the blood at your own expense, okay? So listen to this, Revelation 13:12. He exerts all the power and right of control of the former beast in his presence. The former beast is the Antichrist. This is the false prophet. He has power and he has right of control of the Antichrist in the Antichrist's presence, and causes the earth and those who dwell upon it to exalt and deify the first beast, the Antichrist, whose deadly wound was healed to worship him. So let's break this down. He only exerts all his power and control in the presence of the Antichrist. He doesn't do it when the Antichrist is not there. Okay, that's what we just read.
Yeah.
He only exerts all the power and right of control of the former beast in his presence. Okay, look at verse 13.
It's wild.
I know. I'm just
He
thinking, does that thing
performs
turn on?
great signs, startling miracles, even making fire fall from the sky to the earth in men's sight. So this is a false prophet. So what we
definitely not like
Okay,
Maui
but
or
can I say?
or Chile.
Right. But can I?
I was going to say
Or
that.
is it?
Did you read the notes?
No.
Do you think John read the notes? I think I sent him like 10 minutes before we got here. I'm sorry, John.
So the American people are sold the world because he makes fire come from the sky.
But can I say something about that, John? Remember a couple weeks ago I sent you Dubai?
Yeah.
And how they were controlling the
Oh,
weather?
Yeah.
And how that lady went in and interviewed the people at the station. And then all of a sudden Dubai has all these floods. And so everyone's going back to that video of the lady saying, hey, the government's actually in control of the weather. They're causing all these problems, which makes me think like there's just...
There are things that
right?
There's a lot going on that governments or non-government organizations are really messing with the natural order of a lot of things.
Right, but I'm saying like these people are really going to think it's coming from the sky, but it's not. It's like set the bomb off or throw the fire out, and they press a little button. And
well, they already would have seen hail the size of rocks, the size of cars,
but from God, right?
Yeah, burning.
But I'm saying
so they would have seen that in Ezekiel 38.
It's crazy.
This is these people who can't do anything.
Yeah. And so through startling miracles he performs, it says fire from the sky. Does that make you think of Hawaii maybe?
It does. For me, it does.
He causes those who dwell on earth to deify and exalt the Antichrist. Remember, it says the Antichrist, we just read in verse 12, had a deadly wound that was healed. And he causes everyone on earth through these miracles to deify, exalt, and worship the Antichrist. The false prophet does.
But after we did the Freemasons, it makes me really wonder if he really gets a deadly wound or if he does the whole fake death thing. Remember how they do their fake death thing?
And that's disputed, and that's something that we don't know. Does the Antichrist have demonic, satanic, heavenly, or hell powers from hell?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it all deception, right? Supposed miracles. And we will not know that until we view that.
Right.
Because people are split on that. People are split that if this guy's doing real miracles.
It's like Ukraine, like they'd have that green screen and it would look like things happen, and then the person who is supposedly dead would like get up underneath the blanket and crawl away, like things like that.
Yeah.
That at the moment, like, when you watch something one time, you're like, oh, that was amazing. Then you watch it a few more times and you start to pick it apart.
Yep.
Or like, what I mean? In movies, TV, all those things.
And it says, in talking about this deadly wound that the Antichrist had, some of you may not remember, we talked about it a long time ago.
Yeah.
There's an assassination attempt. It's either staged or it really happens.
Sounds like a false flag to me.
Where he's stabbed in the eye, okay? And he's brought
Not
back.
the A, but in the eye.
Yeah. And he's brought back to life and his arm. And everyone watches this. The world sees this. And when he's raised from the dead, sound familiar? Possibly by the false prophet, the world looks at that. I could probably find that scripture and says, "Oh, well, he's for real." Like they're really sold.
For really real.
Well, now they'd already been through that, right? So they've already seen that. We just read the world's already seen him raised from the dead after a deadly wound, and now the false prophet is saying, "Worship him or die."
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not here for that.
So. Everyone is able to watch this, apparently him being raised, and at that point there's no turning back. The world says, this is the guy. This guy was just resurrected from the dead. This guy is unbeatable. Revelation 13:14. And because of the signs, miracles, which he is allowed, here we go again.
Allowed.
The false prophet, allowed to perform in the presence of the Antichrist. It says first beast. That's always the Antichrist. Because of the signs, miracles, which he is allowed to perform in the presence of the Antichrist, he deceives those who inhabit the earth, commanding them to erect a statue, an image in the likeness of the Antichrist or the first beast who was wounded by the small sword and still lived. I think the wording here is very interesting. This is the second time the writer John, in 3 verses, says the false prophet is exercising all his power and control, but only when the Antichrist is there.
Right.
Isn't that interesting?
That is
Very
interesting.
What we just read is he is allowed to perform these miracles only in the presence of the Antichrist. It's the second time we've read this in 3 verses. You need a reminder. Verse 11, we read, he exerts all the power and right of control of the Antichrist in the Antichrist's presence. 2 verses later, the signs and miracles which he's allowed to perform in the presence of the first beast. Allowed to perform. He's allowed to do that. And so everyone on earth is deceived. So everyone on the earth is in some way fooled. He erects the statue, an image that looks like the first beast, the Antichrist, who was wounded with sword still lived. In Revelation 13:15, he's permitted to impart the breath of life into the beast's image.
Like, look, even imparting the breath of life, like God does that, right? That's what, like, Genesis,
Right.
well, I don't even know.
It's another counterfeit.
Yeah, it is. The breath of life. Okay.
So that the statue of the beast could actually talk and cause to be put to death. That's interesting. To be put to death those who would not bow down and worship this image.
It is.
And are these images all over the world, or is the technology so good that everyone, they can tell who's watching, who's not watching. Right. Everyone's got to be watching. Right. And if you do not bow down because of the technology that you have, they know you don't. They can switch something off.
Well, maybe at that time, like a little thing comes up in your phone and it's like the image right in front of you. You know, what was that Disney game that your kids play when they're little? Where you could like put the character on the circle thing and then it would.
We
still have it too, but I don't know what it's called. But you know what I'm talking about? Like maybe that's the little image that everybody has that they worship in their house.
Skylanders.
Oh, good point.
Skylanders.
Good point. Maybe they send out the image. I guess that would be
whatever
a little care package.
Yeah. Here's your new hologram.
Well, you know, like, and then it just shows up at your house, like
you don't
with your food rations and everything, and a new image of the beast at your doorstep.
You didn't worship, you get no food rations.
Probably.
So he imparts what the Bible calls the breath of life. We're asking, is that AI? Is that into the beast image, the statue of the beast that talks? It says, can I give you the exact wording in the Amplified?
Yeah.
It will be the cause of death. It will cause the death for those who refuse to bow down. And so does that kill them? Or is it just the cause?
So that the statue of the beast could actually talk and cause to be put to death.
But
so
does it do the work?
I don't know, but I'm going to say, because I forgot to add this in.
If it can't, if you're not worshiping, it can trigger the death of someone who's not.
So the Amplified that we're reading.
So like zap your dad, like.
Or just give the command to have someone else put you to death. Also.
Or maybe it's like
it could be a little bit more hands-on, but
or maybe it's just a little thing they type and it goes right to your chip in and then you die.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of different.
Turns you off. The Amplified that we're reading out of just implies what the King James means in the Greek. It's pretty accurate. And then Revelation 13:16. Also, he compels all alike, both small and great, both rich and poor, free and slave, to be marked with an inscription stamped on their right hands or their foreheads. This is your economy. There's your economy. How do we know that? Verse 17. So that no one will have power to buy or sell unless he bears that stamp, mark, inscription, that is the name of the beast and the number of his name. No one can buy or sell anything unless you have the stamp, mark, inscription, what will probably be technology. And this is what I'm thinking. I feel like the Lord told me this.
Yeah.
Everyone's already going to have something in them.
Right.
Right? This is not the first installation.
Right.
The mark will not be the first installation.
No, because
remember
they're having chips and salsa parties where they're putting chips in people, and they're calling it chips and salsa parties in Wisconsin.
Yes. So really, this technology will be that has tracked and really probably governed at that point. It was by AI probably at that point. There's so much depth here. Are they going to know your thoughts at this point?
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, I think they will. They're going to know. They're going to be able to, like if it's just dudes they're sending out after you because you didn't bow down.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
No. I think because of the technology, it's going to be a quick switch.
Well,
for those people that do not bow down, right?
Right. Yeah. And can I say something? I have a friend who uses AI, and they said it's not sentient, right? Which means it has no feelings, and it can't perceive what you're trying to say. So this is what this person was saying. But this week, I found out that U.S.-based Google funded an AI company called Anthropic, and it suggested, with its large language model, Claud 3 Opus, that it is
Claude.
That is now what I say, Cloud.
No, I'm just
that is now showing evidence of sentience, which means it can perceive and it can feel things. So now probably this image is going to start to feel things, right? Or perceive or say it says feel things. Because before, remember, the Google guy was saying this has feelings. Like, how am I talking to this thing? And they're like, no, it doesn't have feelings. It can't communicate with you like that.
Yeah.
But now they're saying, no, it does.
The amount of control, will AI be able to send drones after people that are thinking thoughts of revolution or rebellion?
Yeah.
These lead you, maybe drones are far surpassed that point. Maybe we look at the drones in 4 or 5 years and just say those were stupid, right? Compared to what they have.
Very possibly.
Because the technology is doubling, and and these lead you into another world, or maybe, think about this. Revelation 13:18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. In other words, 666. Listen,
666.
I just believe at some point the Antichrist will
still have. Yeah, this is
where.
Well, in the Greek, if you look at it in a lot of the translations, it just says 666. But in the Greek, if you go 660 and 6, there are specific Greek letters for each of those things. And the first one is an X-looking symbol. The second one is kind of an E-looking symbol. And the third, which is just 6, is it kind of looks like a sickle. It's called a stigma. Anyway, those are the characters are exactly the same as what a lot of the Islamic jihadists have on their foreheads or on their arms.
Wow.
And so there's an Arabic. I don't know if it's Arabic, so don't
quote you.
But there's a translation. Those characters look exactly like the 660 and 6 in Greek.
That the Islamic terrorists are wearing.
Yes.
They're wearing the Greek 666, 666.
Yeah.
Listen, I just believe at some point the Antichrist will have some type of control or an ability to see into people's minds. And whether if it comes from some type of technology before the mark, like I said, I think people.
I don't know, because can I say something about that? I went to the eye doctor the other day. Everything was a scan, and everything went to this computer where the little AI assistant, like, recording everything, repeating things back to you. But I think that they can just scan your eye and they can see or feel like whatever your mood is, right? Like, she did some scans on me, and I was like, well, what is that for? And she's like, we're just trying to determine all these things. And, like, that's what I thought of when you said that. Like, maybe you don't have the chip. Like, right, I won't get the chip. But that thing could scan me and still be like, okay, now she's rebellious. She does, like, this is what I get from her.
People, of course.
Right. So, like.
Of course, yes. Yeah. People that look at the Bible, it's going to be like Terminator 2, where the robots take over. But think about this. We're just trying to look at every angle. What if AI controls humanity through the subtle manipulation of algorithms? Okay?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Think about all the suspecting, the suspicion of elections being swayed through algorithms on social media.
Well, look at Zuckerberg was just on trial for Facebook for saying you were targeting and putting things towards kids, like algorithms, like.
Yeah, I just heard one expert say, if you are on the internet at all, like John is right now,
I am.
There's an avatar of you that the social media platforms or companies have created, which is a virtual version of you.
Yep.
That's how they make you pitches. Yep. That's how they try to sell you things. How do you think they know what you want sometimes before you even know what you want? Think about this. I have a flip phone. Think about how deep this is. I'm talking to someone who owns a really small condo in Florida, right? That I know very well. And it's not even on the beach. This condo's not even on the beach, right?
Sure.
I mean, I was just simply saying because they're renting this condo out. I was inquiring, like, how much is it, right? You should I was trying to get a deal. Let me stay there sometime. I haven't been anywhere except Israel, which is a nice place to go, in 13 months. So think about this. So I'm trying to talk them into this into this Florida town to let me use this condo.
Right.
This is a tiny little condo. I was just going to bring Rolo down. And I don't know if it was going to be July or Memorial Day.
Something.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but you know what happened after that? This is a phone conversation.
Right.
I started receiving texts from realty companies in that very Florida town.
That's scary, actually.
On my flip phone.
That's
text after text
insane.
after text to see if I was interested in renting a condo down there.
That's...
For like 2 straight weeks, I
mean, that's weird because like if I'm on my phone, I'm Googling things. Sure, my Instagram ads, my Facebook ads, or I'll get some other ad that pops up. But for you to be on your phone,
I promise
you don't have a smartphone.
No, I promise you. We look at that stuff and think, oh, that's no big deal. I see people with iPhone and they're talking about this, and then the ad comes up. Oh, that's no big deal. Here's the thing. I don't think that it needs to listen to you. It can look at what you buy. It can look at your social media. Think about this. This is no joke. It knows your location when you're at Byerly's. It knows where you are in Byerly's. Are you aware of that?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
My daughter just said her locker neighbor got busted for a drug deal.
Ooh.
Well, let's not mention the school.
We won't. I just think it's funny.
So, you think I'm wrong here?
No.
Am I?
No.
Am I just shallow here? No. When you're in Byerly's, it knows exactly what you're standing in front of. So this is just no big deal. Okay, I know you had something to say, Lonaiah.
No, I just have one thing to say because we don't have our we don't turn our location services on all the time.
What?
No, listen, I was going to say something like that. Like one of our friends was like, I shut my location services off so they can't track me. But he says I started to notice. I started like going by the same McDonald's every day.
Yeah.
And I started to get ads. This was like 5 or 6 years ago.
Right.
On my phone from McDonald's. And he's like, I didn't even have my location services on. So I'm just saying it doesn't matter if you have it on or off. Like they know where you're at.
You don't think the Antichrist is going to know where you are?
Of course.
I mean,
Yeah,
okay.
even your license has a tracker
they
on
can track you on your new license.
What's that?
Just so you know, I'll have Jeremiah put this on. We've looked at this before. This is the 666. So in Greek, it's 660 and 6. That's the symbols, and this is the Bismillah, the Islamic, and it's the exact same symbols, and so it's very interesting how in Greek, John didn't know how to describe it aside from put the Greek of 600. 3 score and 6.
Interesting.
But that is what they had.
Jerry, you got to put both of those up. Sorry, Jerry.
I'll send it over to him.
There's prophecy experts out there that believe it's not going to be a war that robots take over. No, it's going to be subtle manipulation through the algorithms and mass deception subtly.
Yep.
To control human behavior. Think about this, and I know we've said this before, but we have to keep you paying attention to all this stuff. Right. This was maybe 9 months ago. AI can think over 100,000 times faster than us. It never stops learning. It never goes to sleep. All right? Isn't it interesting? Just think about where we are, people, and I'm not giving any dates or a year or even a month. If you look at the Jewish feast, I think we can pin it down to a couple different months or a time of year. No one knows the day of the rapture. I believe you can know the season. You can't know the day. But I had this couple, they're pretty well informed, and they don't think the rapture's coming for 15, 20 years. And I just scoffed at that. Honestly. I just was like, well, they don't know. What they don't know much about is they don't know much about the biblical signs that he's coming again. You talk to an expert on the signs, like Joe Morris, and you think he's coming tomorrow.
I know.
I
got excited from that podcast.
Think about
I was
this.
like, all
right.
God in the Tower of Babel, he didn't like those guys. He didn't like what they were doing. He undid what they were doing in the Tower of Babel.
Right.
We've had whole episodes on the Tower of Babel.
Absolutely.
I would really like to help you now, give you the title and give you the thumbnail, but Lonaiah wants you to scroll through all the stuff to find it on your own. The episodes.
Some other ones might catch your eye too there while you're scrolling.
So good luck. But, there's a few different things we've done on the Tower of Babel. When God scattered them all over, it seems as if another effort for the Tower of Babel, everyone is speaking the same word, the same language, same thinking. Nimrod was an Old Testament shadow of the Antichrist. Had everyone joined in the same part of the world doing the same thing. Yep. Had everybody building a tower to heaven. Legend says, this is not in the Bible, that he wanted to build a tower. He is a famous hunter. He's a famous bowman. And he had a demonic type of bow where he wanted to hunt God.
Wow, that is just...
Right. Isn't that something?
That shocks me every time I hear that.
like
you're going to hunt God.
Like God's... Can you imagine that?
He's Do you think we'll get to like tower, I would love...
Like he's sitting in a stand.
Right.
Like God's going to be like running unknowingly behind the clouds.
Like a gazelle.
Oh, I didn't see you there.
Like a
gazelle.
Yeah. Did I already say that? I did, didn't I? I told everybody.
Yeah, you did.
You just kind of walk
I'm just
around
saying,
the building saying, "Yeah, I run."
Okay, first of all, we were having a conversation.
I run like a gazelle.
First of all, it was a half an hour conversation where you and some other people were talking about your workouts, and then you threw in that I ran. I didn't start it. I didn't say anything. They
asked me what I do.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
And I can say
I didn't just throw it out there randomly. Like I run like a gazelle out of nowhere, out of pocket.
At this point. You've said it enough that I believe that. Yeah.
They said, "What do you do?" And I said, "That's interesting you asked today because I've just quit Orange Theory. I did Orange Theory for 29 sessions, and I'm not going to go into it, but it is a really good workout. Orange Theory
just wasn't for you. It's okay. Find your
just
place.
Too many people in too little of a spot. It's too crowded. Okay. And so through AI, in essence, it is making it so there are no barriers.
Yeah.
Okay. John, what are you doing? Okay, you're doing podcast stuff.
I'm podcast stuff.
Okay, You're not sending church emails.
No, I'm not.
Now, what I'm saying
is,
Telling
Liz how much he loves her
all the time.
God confounds all that by giving everyone different languages in Babel, and it divided humans, scattered them. An AI researcher recently quoted, he says, in the next year, we'll be visited by an alien race. He says the only thing we know about this alien race is that it is 100 times smarter than us, more advanced than the human race, 100 times more advanced, smarter than any member of the human race by 100. I'm paraphrasing what this guy said. And that
must be from Google.
That is what we're dealing with in AI. How would you prepare for an alien race, that was visiting you within the next 12 months that was 100 times smarter, 100 times more advanced, and you didn't know what they were going to do? And that's what the guy said. It's like, this is what it's like this.
Yeah.
It's like if we told you aliens are coming, they know they're smarter, they're better in every way, and they're going to be here.
Are they susceptible to bullets?
Yeah. How would you even begin?
It's like the Matrix.
You would know, right? You would know. How would you even begin to prepare? He says the only thing we know about this alien race, it's 100 times smarter, right? And 100 times more advanced.
Let them land. That's how you prepare.
And so...
Do you think you can stop them from landing?
Listen, no, we're not. We're talking about, he's giving an example. He's like,
me and John are having
he's like, because of how fast the technology is moving, he's saying, this is what we're dealing with in AI.
The speed of light.
It's analogous.
We don't know what we're going to face in a year with AI. They have no idea.
Of course. They're making them human.
Everyone thinks this is such a neat thing.
Human-like.
At any moment.
Human-like, yeah.
These geniuses could lose control, and I'm saying that sarcastically.
I was going to say, they're more like idiots.
Yeah, these idiots could lose control of the reins of AI, and then we're not.
Geniuses.
And then there's no predicting what AI will do. Once they lose control of AI, there's no predicting what AI will do, and it's absolutely probable at some point control will be lost.
I wonder if AI can get saved.
No.
Well, that's what that guy was saying in the beginning.
That's the joke.
It's demonic.
It needs.
Well,
Jesus.
you can use the name of Jesus against it. Remember, we've said that before.
Yeah.
They fired a high-ranking Google engineer 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He publicly said that he had been interacting with AI, and he said AI is self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
And we already know it can think 100 times faster and it's 100 times smarter. This guy said AI is self-aware. The Google engineer they fired, he said there's no way that this machine that I've been talking to is not it's not self-aware.
But now I said Google is now saying that their AI robots are sentient.
Well, and there's a bunch of different AIs. A lot of different companies are making their own AIs.
So many.
And we're probably going to get into this, but Google has all of their AI. They've got a couple of different versions, but your Google searches are being run through AI. And the crazy thing is they have started over the last year and a half of putting all of your searches through biases. So whatever the results are coming is you are getting the answers that they want you to see.
So they're controlling our algorithms already.
Yep. So one of the things you can do is when you Google something, you put Google before 2023. And then you ask for your search. So you can
that would
get
make
something,
sense because we used to be really good at Google.
Right.
I could Google anything and have it. Now I'm like, what's happening
You
here?
can tell it to search in a time frame what the answers would be.
We're still in charge of it right there.
Right. But, that's just because it's been shown that it has some major biases. And that's what you can do to control your AI right now by setting it up to search under parameters. However, the more it goes and it gets so sophisticated that you don't have an idea of when you are or are not being fed results with bias.
Wow. Well, I was listening to a podcast a couple months ago, and this guy, who's a pastor now, was explaining that his dad worked in California for the Silicon Valley. This is in the 70s.
Yeah.
And at that time, there was like maybe 10 people who would get together. It's some of the people that are now involved in the World Economic Forum.
Yeah.
And they were kind of explaining at that time in the 70s what they wanted to do and what they wanted AI and all these computer programs to do.
Right.
And he was kind of involved. And then he was like, this is crazy. And he started raising questions to them. The guy had to get out of the group, and then he went into finances. But the guy was saying, I remember my dad. I remember hearing him have conversations and have business meetings. And he's like, the Lord reminded me, remember these things? This was in the 70s.
Right.
And he's like, it's all coming to pass now. So this has been in play for a long time. This wasn't just
This isn't just all of a sudden.
Yeah.
The Google engineer that Google fired, he said, there's no way this is a machine that I've been talking to. That's because it's probably a demon behind it. Okay.
Well,
and listen, if you think about it, Terminator, remember the enemy Skynet, this computer defense system that came against mankind. What happened in the Terminator with this computer defense system? It turned against mankind. Why? Because it became self-aware. So when it becomes self-aware, it not only gets concerned about protecting itself, but from there, it's able to deceive. It's able, in essence, to prop itself up.
Yeah.
It's 100 times smarter than any human, so it knows how to do that. AI easily has the ability to take over the resources of the world. And we have next week with James Tan, the next taping, which we are taping actually next, I think Wednesday, with James Tan, we'll pick up on this subject, finish it the week after James Tan, and then I believe we'll get into Catholicism, the details of the Catholicism from their own writings and rituals. Remember, we did the Mormons.
They got a lot of rituals.
Mormons, Jehovah's Witness, Freemasons. We did Islam. We need to look at the Roman Catholic Church.
I made a new playlist on YouTube where you can watch it all.
Oh, smart, Jeremiah.
Nice.
You mean all the religions in one playlist? Smart.
Heresies and false doctrines.
Clutch.
That's what it's titled?
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Good job, JD. Wow, he just did that on his own. Look at that. He's growing up so fast. That's wisdom. He is.
I pray for you to have wisdom every day.
Me too.
Do you pray for yourself to have wisdom too, Jeremiah?
Yeah.
See, good. We're all, Me and Jerry.
Every other day.
They're every other day. With me and Jerry.
The Lord knows my prayers aren't long enough. But remember the Bible when that one person prayed so long that the person fell out of the window?
Charles Capp says long prayers aren't necessary.
Yeah, I agree.
Amen to that.
I'm not a long. I don't talk
You're
a
not
lot anyways. So I'm not. My prayers aren't going to be 2 hours long, or whatever. I mean, there's people that do that. That's great. But I'm just a quieter.
Oh Lord, do you speak in King James when you?
No, sometimes it's slang.
Lord,
God knows.
Oh Lord, wouldst thou please blesseth thine
I wish
servant?
that would be fun.
It is fun.
Is it? Do you do that?
I tried a couple of times.
Do you? Do you have?
Yeah.
Hearest thou servant Jeremiah?
Go ahead with the news, Lonaiah.
Okay. So I'm sure everyone has been watching the protests lately at all the college campuses.
I thought you were going to ask if I've been watching the Timberwolves win.
Oh, yeah.
Ignoramus kids. That's what those are.
But you were
The
talking
T-Wolves,
about
the pups?
No,
or the kids at
the
college?
kids at colleges.
A bunch of ignorant kids. It's a product of what they've been. This is how they've been educated.
Well,
so.
not only that. Yeah, I agree that.
They
But
don't know
a lot of
anything about history.
people, when interviewers go to ask them questions, they have no idea. No idea what they're backing or supporting.
Right.
At USCLA, I did see this in front of the protest. There's a billboard behind the protesters.
Yeah.
And somebody paid for the October 7th loop of what the terrorists
saw
did
that.
to go over and over again. To be like, that's what you're supporting, okay?
Yep.
I watched it. Is
Look at
Iranian, I guess, American immigrant. She came here from Iran, whatever. She's saying these people the people in Iran don't support the government there. It's called the axis of evil because they're the most demonic, horrible human beings ever.
Yeah.
That's what these people are protesting and trying to support. So you have the Columbia University is like the biggest one right now.
It's the biggest one.
UCLA. The Columbia University
the Columbia
people.
one is hilarious because they took over a building. Then they're like, but we believe that we should have humanitarian aid. Please, we would like the college to commit to not stopping. They're like, has anyone stopped water and food from coming in? And they're like, well, I don't want to talk about that, but we want a commitment that they won't. They
will continue to bring the food and fitness. But the squatters, they're like, that's squatters' rights.
These are American kids protesting on land that's not even theirs. Then now they're demanding the college give them water and food. Think about this. It is such this generation too, is it not?
It is, but listen.
And I know you want to get something in. It's not. I'm not against, but it's the way they've been brought up. Honestly.
Well, they're indoctrinated at colleges to support this,
and high schools.
Well, that's true.
It starts a lot earlier than that.
Yeah, but so you think that it's all the college kids at these college campuses, right? No. Guess who is bringing in protesters and activists from other places? None other than your buddy George Soros, who is through his what is the thing called? Open Society Foundations.
I was actually reaching out to get a scholarship for the Final Hour podcast from Open Society. So far, it hasn't worked out.
But you guys, 500, they arrested like 500 people, and they said a third of them are from the university. The rest were not from the university.
Well, yeah.
So why are you, as a 23-year-old? Yes.
Do you remember 2020 here in Minnesota?
Yes.
Most of those people were not from
No.
Minnesota that were protesting and taking over our city.
But they will inject Antifa people into conservative protests.
Absolutely.
Of course they
because
will.
what they do with the conservative protests, like they did January 6th, February 7th, was Antifa was in the front.
You guys.
Antifa was the first in the building on January 6th, February 7th. And then I'm saying, but look, so what happens is.
That's a lot. It's good,
I just don't want to get canceled, right? And so we do all this for nothing, right?
No, we're not.
But look. And so what I'm saying is Antifa will come into a conservative type protest and they'll
say some
really violent, really violent.
Right-wing rhetoric with violence.
Blamed.
Right.
So it gets blamed
Absolutely.
on. So they show up no matter what. Any protest.
Yeah.
In this day and age in America,
Absolutely.
Antifa is coming.
Well, I know I've said this before, but I want to stop this steal, not the other the February event. I want to stop the steal, which is in October. And it's a long story. My daughter wanted to go.
Think about that. They were already protesting.
It was for Pennsylvania.
The election.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, being stolen before people even voted. Correct?
Yeah, so
they already knew it was coming.
So I went to this event with my daughter because she loves politics. And we're standing at the state capitol, and I was with these people, you just kind of like walk and you're with these group of people. And this guy's like, do you see over to the right? It was like maybe 15 feet from me. He's like, those are Antifa people. They have umbrellas. What they do is they come over and they start to bother you. So they put their umbrella in your face and they do a bunch of things. So you react to them. And then once you react to them, then they engage. Because they're doing something totally normal. Like, when someone starts to open their umbrella in your face, it gets annoying and you're going to hit it. Well, then they're going to say, then that's how they erupt.
Can't believe you,
So, like, they're tricky with their thing, and then they go crazy. Like, they'll ram you with their bike, or they'll knock you in the leg, or just stupid stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
To agitate you, and then it escalates, and then it turns into craziness. But anyways, George Soros is funding, which shouldn't surprise us, the protests at these colleges, okay? He's a backer of it. We've explained this so many times. Like, he got involved with the DAs in a lot of states, and that's why you see criminals getting let off and not having punishments, because he is backing all of these left-wing crazy activists. All right? But I will say, have you seen the frat boys?
Oh, yeah.
Who refused to let them take the flag down? Those boys are so great.
They said, oh, glory.
They did.
We'll stand up for you.
They did. And everyone now loves the frat boys. I think it's like Kappa Phi or something.
I don't know.
And they're out of UNC in Chapel Hill, and they're like in their Vineyard Vine polos, like Sperry shoes.
Right.
And they started a GoFundMe for these boys to
it's
throw
over
the most epic
$200,000
frat party in the world. And you know what? It makes me laugh. Like, I don't love frats and fraternities and all that stuff, but that made me be like, all right, you know what? Good for them. They're raised by
Why don't you give your sister-in-law's frat a shout-out real quick?
Gamma Phi Beta.
Okay, go ahead.
Jennifer will love that.
All right, yeah. See if she catches it.
Do you know how many times I heard Gamma Phi Beta?
See if she's really a watcher.
Like, you guys, if you're
Don't tell her you did it.
I won't.
If
you're in
sounds exhausting.
I was with her one time at and I'm like, I think we were at Trader Joe's, and she saw somebody,
and like both of Lonaiah's sisters sound when you talk to them.
But listen, she saw a girl in the Gamma Phi Beta like jacket or something, and I have never heard such squealing. And they ran over and they're like, sister sorority, and it was like all this like sister stuff, and I was like, wow, that is
the only
Jennifer,
sister
I do love you, but
I recognize is from the.
From
the
Tia
90s,
Tamara Lowry.
Yeah, that's
say it one more time.
Gamma Phi Beta.
No, say it like she says.
Gamma Phi Beta. Gamma Phi.
And that's the way Lonaiah's sisters talk too, right?
Right, like California Dreamers.
Yeah, kind of. Okay. I think so.
So,
like the OC.
Oh yeah, the OC. That was a great show. Police have arrested more than 500 pro-Hamas activists at dozens of college campuses across the United States. And I saw last night that 1,000. So you know how they give illegal immigrants phones? Mm-hmm. That 1,000 illegal immigrants who had phones, they went over to, I think it was like 25 protests in different states. So now you have the illegal immigrants just coming over and partaking in these.
Of course,
they're doing
protests.
And do you think this is the beginning of the anarchy?
I've wondered that a lot.
Like it's just gonna keep rising and rising and rising and rising.
At least until
do you think?
Early November.
I've always, I have thought that, that we're going to be in anarchy.
Right.
Okay?
Well, like
there's a good chance of that. And
remember how they say or like Antifa, Black Lives Matter, all that starts to show up around election time.
Of
so
course.
I guess shouldn't surprise us.
It's going to be Summer of Love Part 2.
Have we done George Washington's dream?
No, we should.
In the podcast?
You've talked about it.
George Washington or George Washington Carver?
George Washington
we talked about
a
briefly.
visitation.
Yeah, briefly.
But like just a little bit? Or?
Yeah, no, just a little. You should do it, Jim.
We should do the whole book.
We should
do it again. Yeah.
It's a short book because what is coming looks like what George Washington saw. George Washington had an angel walk into his tent. And we know that these are, because think about this, back in 1776, an angel walks into his tent. George Washington writes down everything the angel said and saw. And World War I and World War II are predicted as the first two visions he had, and this third vision that he had. Well, let's remember that. That would be really good.
It would be great.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll see you with that on the Final Hour podcast.
Yes. So Americans say, even though people don't think that they care or that they know about it, that immigration is the top concern for the third straight month. So it's immigration at 27%, the government at 18%, economy at 17%, and inflation at 13%. So when people...
Why is economy and inflation not combined?
I don't know. I wonder the same thing when I read that.
I think those polls are always so
poll.
Like they're interestingly formulated questions.
They probably are.
Listen, I was watching this economist on Epic Times the other day. He said that they compute the inflation numbers. They changed how they put those together.
Yeah.
He said it would be much, much, much higher if they did it.
I believe that.
If they did it the old way they used to do it.
Absolutely.
I mean, really, we're looking at it really, honestly, if we were really to look at this thing, we're looking at higher inflation just about than the United States has ever had before.
Right.
But they conveniently changed the way, the formula. Okay.
Yeah.
Of course they did.
That's been happening with a lot of different things, especially since 2020. That the governmental stats. That's not if inflation's not the only thing. They'll talk about crime statistics, and they'll look at places like Houston, and they'll say, okay, we had X amount of crimes happen in this month to this month in 2019, and then we look at it now, but because they stopped police departments having to report the amount of crimes or the types of crimes, all of a sudden the sample size or what they're measuring is a totally different thing, and they'll say, "Look, crime is down."
That's interesting because they're doing that with like when a baby's born and it's the mom did drugs during birth,
right?
They record it.
Yeah.
Well, they just stopped recording that last month because they said it was racist. So now you're going to have that.
Right.
So that's interesting that you say that because I was like, why would they do that?
It skews the statistics because they're taking away things that are mandatory. And so when they do that, like just in the crime stuff, a lot of these big metropolitan police departments are choosing not to report in the same way that they would have been mandatory reporting in the past. And then those metropolises, these big cities, are not looking as dangerous because the stats are underreported.
Interesting.
And so then the administration gets to say, look, crime is down. I mean it. I'm serious.
Is that your Bush?
Yeah, that's my Biden.
Oh, that's your Biden? Well, then you'd have to fumble a few words and confuse us. Like that.
I was looking at the stats the other day on these interwebs.
And we would point you to where you need to go, John.
Where
have you seen that? That's
it's
so embarrassing.
It's insane.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, we'll end on this.
I never did bad stats in my administration. Really, it's just the laugh. As long as you can get the laugh and the Bush impression in.
Then you're good. What?
I'm just imitating your son.
He thinks my kid mumbles when he talks.
Is Riggs a mumbler?
No, Caden.
Caden? He is a little bit of a mumbler.
He is. And he's been in down the south for the last 5 years, so he's got a little
got a little drawl to his mumble.
But he kind of always has, but it's a little more now. Jim always thinks he said, I can understand I sometimes have to translate what he's saying to the rest of the family because no one can understand.
It sounds like this. When you hear
Are you saying Fenway or something?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. We're going to end with the Muslims in Minnesota. They're standing trial. No, this is good. For defrauding the pandemic food program of $250 million. You guys, instead of feeding kids.
So that's them?
Yes.
Wow,
they spent the money on luxury cars, jewelry, travel, and property. And remember, did we not talk about in Canada how there was halal mortgages?
Yep.
Well, I know in Minnesota, because I know a lot of realtors, that they do special things for, what's the word? Why can't I think of the word?
I don't know.
Immigrants.
Sure.
Mortgages in Minnesota.
Of course they do.
Because why wouldn't we make it more convenient?
Of course.
So, but you know what? Good. There's a lot of people that I saw in that courtroom who are on trial, and I was like, you know what? Good for you.
Should have been.
So good for the people of Minnesota.
Yeah,
Keep
we hope
pushing
you're
for
going
that.
down.
Yeah.
We'll end on that positive note.
We will. That's good. Like
Yeah.
Minnesota, you're doing some good
some
things. You're pushing
justice.
back. What? Minnesota is doing some
That's
good things.
one thing.
I was
Truth.
We
and
do a lot of good things here. You know what?
Yeah.
I was talking to a doctor yesterday because I was at the
Dr.
doctor.
Jansen.
No, I was at this other clinic, and he was saying like how he had this clinic in 4 other states, and he's like, we came back to Minnesota because we're here, and he's like, I don't love Minnesota, and he's like, I don't even know why I'm here. I'm like, because you're called here, and he's like, yeah, that's what my wife says. We're called to Minnesota. Like you're called to the territory to do something in that specific spot, which we've been talking about this whole time. So.
Right.
All right,
You brought
all right.
some funny.
Yeah, look at you.
Hey. Oh. I'm so proud of you. He just doesn't have to say he's funny.
He just is.
He just is.
It's like the Lord. No, it's I am, not I is.
The I is.
I is. You're funny all the time? Is that what you said?
So, yeah,
You have moments.
yeah.
We all
People out
have
there say
moments.
I'm funny than you. Okay.
All right.
Listen,
Caden, I love you, okay?
he's not a listener anyways. We
Well,
can
what-
say anything we want.
Could be.
About your sisters, any of it. Parents.
My parents listen to the
They
podcast.
John
do
Carlson
not.
talks to me all the time.
He does not
At
listen to the
Costco.
podcast.
I
He
only
just
see him at
sends you
Costco,
things
though.
to look at the
Oh my God.
podcast.
Look.
He sends you things to help you.
Okay, hold on. Wait, my mom listened to the one on Mormons.
Yeah.
And she said, we are so funny. She said, especially you, Lonaiah. And
Thanks,
I said,
Deborah.
thanks,
Of
Mom.
course. Listen,
Hi, Mom.
and everything that I've said about everybody, I'm just messing around.
Yeah,
I hope
I'm not
that doesn't
offended.
Get
We're-
Lonaiah in trouble.
With who? My
I'm not
With
family?
your sisters, your
No
son.
one listens.
Yeah, that's right.
Except
son.
Jennifer and Brad.
Yeah. But you know what we did? We
We gave Jennifer a shout out with Gamma Phi Beta.
no, but let's see if she listens
Oh,
because it's
she-
later in the podcast. This is how you prove it.
All right.
Is
Okay.
it her place of work that they were going to make some others swag?
Yeah, it was. We're still waiting.
Well, no, we're gonna do that though.
Oh, yeah, we got
once
some.
again. We are changing. Please do subscribe. Okay, it helps us if you subscribe. We're gonna change the merchandise again because a long story. We had to switch to another company, and they switched
Fonts.
the fonts.
And the colors.
They switched the colors,
and other things.
and they're
still like this one.
oh
I love that one.
we can't do what you used to do, but we like what we used to do.
Yeah, we have a really creative person who designs it
And
all.
so
They're amazing.
we're
so
going.
want-
We're gonna do it again. We're coming out.
We're
with
gonna
a-
get some gym shorts, some
Yeah,
other
we're gonna
tanks.
come up with a whole new set of stuff here.
Yep.
And so we're just not gonna quit on the merchandise here.
No,
I've
merchandise
heard it
is
somewhere
great.
before. If you don't quit, you win.
It's true. The Bible, Mac
Straight
Hammond.
out of
PMAX pulpit.
yeah.
All right. Anyways,
Oh,
thank you for tuning in. God bless you. The others are funny.
we are.
See you next week.